Alright, hey guys, She Detector here. So in today's video, we're going to be working on our Multi-Kruzer by Nokta Macro. So if you've been watching my videos lately, a couple of weeks ago, I had planned on taking my Multi-Kruzer out to do some metal detecting, and I plugged it in the day before so I can get everything charged up. And when I plugged it in, the battery flashed on the screen like it was charging, and then I turned around to do something else, and when I went back to the machine, nothing was on the screen. Fast forward a couple of weeks after that, one of my subscribers, Greg, reached out and asked if he could try and tinker with the Multi-Kruzer because I changed the battery and it still wasn't working. So something else was wrong with it other than just a bad battery. So I sent it to Greg and he got it to work again. And so I've not taken it out yet since it was fixed. But I'm wanting to take it out, but first I need to get it like all back together and cleaned up and ready to go. So we're gonna be doing that today. And then once everything is back together and good to go, I brought out a couple of test items so I can essentially get reacquainted with the Multi-Kruzer because it has been years since I've used it and I don't remember any of the settings or any of the readout numbers, nothing. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. All right guys, so first things first, so I brought out some wet paper towels so I can clean up all of the salt that's on the shaft, and it's obviously still dusty and dirty, so I'm going to do that. So I wanted to start with the lower portion of the metal detector. So now right here is where I guess the tension push pin normally goes. So I did take those out. And let me show that to you here. So this is what used to be in here. So now I wanted to replace them because they are super rusty and it makes pushing them in very difficult. So I took this one out of this section, and then there was one more in one of these other sections. I think this section right here. So I was looking for replacements of them and I found these on Amazon. So these are called, it says 12 pieces pool butterfly brush skimmer net. So these are essentially replacement parts for your pool brush. If you have a swimming pool, you have to brush them periodically, I guess, and also use the net to like skim leaves off the top. So these are for those tools, and I wanted to see if they would work for my metal detector. This little part here is smaller than the old one that was in there. I mean, I don't think it's by much necessarily. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But we're gonna give it a try, and I don't know, I might have to snip off one side of this to make it fit in here. But we're gonna give it a try, and yeah, I'm gonna have to snip off a side because it's too wide. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's too wide for both of them to fit in, so I'm gonna have to snip off one side. And I don't think I have my snips out here, so well, let's see. Let's see if I can, oh, there we go, yeah. All right, so I snipped off one side, and we're gonna see if this will work. I hope it'll work. All right, so that's in there. I mean, it looks like it'll work. I feel like it'll work. I mean, it's not exactly the same as what was in there, but I feel like that'll get the job done, right? So, all right, so now that I know that that's gonna work, let's see, I'll go ahead and do this one. So I'll have to snip off one side for this one too. Let's see here. There you go. Just leave that in there and that one in there. All right, so I got that snipped off. All right, so, well, this one's a little more finicky than the other one. So maybe if I just don't, well, let's say push it in all the way. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better than the metal ones that were in there, I feel like. So yeah. All right, so now that I know that these are gonna work, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this right here. And I brought out some silicone lube because this section here slides into this right here. And I mean, you can see the residue of like salt and sand, and the carbon fiber has actually been like sanded down a little bit because of the grit from the salt and sand. So I'm gonna get these cleaned up, and then I'm gonna spray some of this silicone lubricant on this to hopefully try and keep it from getting too terribly, I don't know, gritty and stuck and grindy in there. So we'll see if it works. I mean, it can't make it any worse, I wouldn't think. So yeah, so I'm gonna get to cleaning these two up. All right guys, so I'm screwing in the rest of these screws here. So these screws here go in these spots here on the back side of the Multi-Kruzer head unit. I had wanted to replace all of these screws here with some new screws, but finding the proper thread pattern of these screws has proven like impossible. So they are a 3mm screw, but the thread pattern, and I don't know if you can really see it in the camera, this thread pattern here is a wide thread pattern. I found a video on YouTube of a guy who was changing the screws, but his screws that he took out were a fine thread pattern. So they were really, really close. The threads were very close together. And I have looked everywhere to try and find a 3mm with a fine thread pattern, and I cannot find any. I could only find them, or no, I've been trying to look for the screws with this wide thread pattern, and the only ones that I can find have the fine thread pattern. And that's not gonna work because obviously this thread pattern is not fine, it is wide. So yeah, I've not been able to replace the hardware. If anybody knows of a place where I can look to try and find this wide thread pattern in a 3mm, let me know. Because I would really like to change the hardware. I mean, it looks fine on the outside. They still do their job, but like they're a little corroded. And the video that I watched of the guy changing his screws, he put in orange and green screws, and I would really like to put in some blue screws, but yeah, I can't find the right thread pattern. So I'm putting these old dookie screws back in, and they're just gonna have to do, I guess. So here's an example of what I was talking about with the fine thread pattern. So again, hopefully you can see that in the camera. So this screw has a much finer thread pattern than the other screws that I just put in. And let me go ahead and take one back out for you guys, just so you can see them right next to each other. All right, there. So look at the difference. So I'm able to find these screws, but that's not what goes on the outside edges. It's this screw with this thread pattern that I need to replace the outside one. So this is the conundrum that I am having with the thread pattern. So again, if you guys know where I can find a wide thread pattern in a 3mm, please let me know in the comments down below. All right guys, so I've got all my screws in. I attached the box back to the upper portion of the shaft. So now I'm going to hit this top section with some of the silicone lube, and then we'll go ahead and put it back inside here. So, and then we will be ready to go. Yeah. Get a little bit in here. All right. So we'll just push our little push pin back in. And even after cleaning it, and even with the silicone lube, it's still pretty difficult to get back on. There. Ugh. All right, so now we'll just tighten this. There we go. And we'll clean this up a little bit. You can see it's like the waterproofing of the silicone there. So this is in the old spot that I had it before. There you go. And it's just a little bit smaller than the hole, so there is a little bit of play, but I think it's gonna be fine, honestly. I'm not too terribly concerned about it. So now we just need to attach our cable, and I need to wrap it around a little bit because it is too long. All right, so I think we are good to go. So everything is back together. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get set up for some of our targets here that I brought out, and we can kind of get reacquainted with the Multi-Kruzer. So I wanted to show you guys some alternatives I bought in the event that these weren't gonna work. So if these didn't fit, or if they were too small or too big, I got these two items here. So this is a nylon, it says nylon mock screws binding head. So this is 1/4 20 by 1.5, so 1.5 inches long and 1/4 inches wide. Whoops. And then these are open already, but these are wing nuts nylon. So again, these are 1/4 20, so these are for 1/4 inch bolts essentially. So my thought was, if these didn't work, then my plan was to drill a hole essentially from this side of the shaft all the way through to the other side of the shaft, and then I would stick this bolt through that hole and then secure it with the wing nut, and then it would have the placement that works for me, and I wouldn't have to worry about if this was going to work or not. I wouldn't have to worry about it rusting or anything like that. So I bought these as a backup just in case these didn't work, but so far these appear to be working. There's one, and then the other one is right there. So yeah, if you aren't able to get these, or if these don't work for your particular machine, you can always look at getting some nylon hardware and then just drilling a hole straight through the shaft and then set it where you always have it anyways. All right guys, so we are ready to turn the Multi-Kruzer on and try it out. So let's go ahead and get her turned on. Woo! All right, so let's go ahead and start going through some of these settings. So you can hear it already. It's a little bit chattery, and it looks like right now we are in the 2-tone setting here, and hopefully you can see that there. So we are in 2-tone, ground balance is showing at 90. So let's go ahead and switch the mode. So I'm gonna go down to, I think maybe 4-tone. Oops. So we can hear all of the different tones that the Multi-Kruzer has. Let me adjust the discrimination here to see if we can get the machine to quiet down a little bit. Let's see, settings, whoops, disc. All right, let's bump that up. So can I get it on 10? All right, so we're on 10. And that definitely made the machine a little bit quieter, so that's good because it was very, very chattery. And I'm away from the house. There's no power lines or anything near me, so I don't quite know why it would be so chattery, but I lowered that down. Ground balance, let's see, so pump coil. All right, let's see if we can do our ground balance. All right, so I don't know if I need to hold it. I'm guessing I need to hold it. Let's see, let's try it without. So nothing is happening. All right, so I guess I need to hold it. Let's see, hold it, pump coil. It has been forever. Oh, there you go. All right, so it changed to 61 for our ground balance. I'm waiting for it to go over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yep, all right, so ground balance changed to 61. I'll try it again just to make sure we are good. All right, so now it says 49. So 49 there, and we'll see for it to change over here. 49. All right, so it has been a minute since I have ground balanced any machine. All right, so we are set and ready to go. So I've got a couple of different targets here. So this is the, I believe, titanium ring, men's ring that I just found recently. This is a gold ring. This one is 10 karat gold, I believe. Yep, 10 karat gold. This is a 925 silver toe ring. I brought out a quarter, a penny, a dime, and a nickel. And we'll just go ahead and start with the titanium ring. And I'm gonna make sure that there's nothing. Of course there's something here. Why wouldn't there be something there? Well, so whatever it is isn't ringing up on the target ID. And for our depth, it's pretty low. So I'm gonna move somewhere else. Feel like this is a good spot. A little bit of chatter, nothing too crazy. All right, so we got our titanium ring. Let's see what she sounds like. Okay, so 32. Our depth gauge is all the way up. And great response time. Great response time for a machine that was brought back from the dead. All right, so 32 for our titanium ring. Let's check out our gold ring. Make sure we're still good. All right, so again, this is 10 karat gold ring. And you hear the difference of the tone. This is lower than the titanium ring. Solid 22. Again, our depth gauge is all the way up at the top. Yep. All right, so 32 for titanium, 22 for 10 karat gold. Let's check out our silver. There we go. All right. So it did say 46. Let me tuck this down a little bit so I don't hit it with the detector. There we go. 50, 40, 53, 49, 51, 37, 36. So this one is kind of all over the place. And our depth is showing only like 3 bars. And I'm not that far above it. So if I get closer to it, then our depth is more accurate. It's going all the way to the top. Our numbers are still all over the place though, which is kind of surprising because again, this is just a 925 silver ring. So I don't know why. Oh, you know what? Maybe because it's not a solid ring. Maybe because it's not solid, that's why our numbers are freaking out a little bit. I should have grabbed a solid silver ring. I did not. All right, let's try our quarter. Try our quarter. There we go. Oh yeah, solid 88. Depth all the way up. Yep, solid 88 for our quarter. You know, I used to love hunting with the Multi-Kruzer. It was super easy. You could hunt, I believe, 10 feet deep in the water. You didn't have to worry about headphones. Like, this is it. I really miss my Multi-Kruzer. All right, so we got our nickel here. 31, 30, 31. Depth is all the way up. Yep, 30, 31 for our nickel. Let's try out our penny. Go. So solid 67. And depth is all the way up. Yep. Very nice. And our last target is our dime. Okay. All right. 78. Depth is all the way up. Solid 78. There was jumping a little bit in there. I think I saw the 80s. So it's jumping around a little bit, 76, 77, 78. So, I mean, for a machine, again, that was dead, it's got a really great response time. Let's maybe lay a couple of targets out next to each other and see what our response time is like with them super close together. So I'll do 3. I'll do the quarter, the penny, and the ring. And I'm gonna come over here where there's a little bit less grass so that I don't lose my targets. So we'll check. All right, no targets there. So we'll do our titanium ring in the middle, our quarter, and then our penny. So this is our quarter, 88. It's jumping around a little bit in the 90s. So let's put it closer to our ring and see what it does then. So that is all over the place. 89, 22, 71. Yeah. Let's try our ring with our penny. Oh, did you guys hear that? I don't know if you guys could hear that. Let me get the camera closer to the detector. Hopefully you can hear it. It was giving an overload sound. So that sound is the machine overloading. So let's see if it does it with the quarter and the penny, or if it's just maybe the ring and the penny is causing it to overload. Let's try again. Yeah, so that one didn't do it. Let's try again the quarter and the ring. That's weird that it wouldn't do it. I don't know, let's see. Nope, there it goes. Yeah. All right, so let's see if it does it with the penny and the quarter. Yeah, so it doesn't do it with the 2 coins. It only does it if the ring is mixed with a coin. That's really interesting. Let me see if it does it with the ring by itself, but like super close up. Yep. So it's the ring. The titanium ring by itself, super close, is causing it to overload. That's really interesting. I don't know, maybe because it's so big, but the quarter is kind of equally big too. I mean, here they are, like size-wise, it's essentially the same size as the quarter. So, I don't know, that's really interesting. All right guys, so that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Even though there wasn't any metal detecting, maintenance and upkeep and all of that good stuff goes hand in hand with our hobby of metal detecting, because if you don't maintain your machine, then it's eventually gonna end up failing on you. Stuff is gonna break, it's gonna get rusty if you're a beach hunter, like in my case. So this is definitely a part of our hobby, whether we like it or not. I'm really hoping these pool butterfly clips work out the way I'm expecting them to work out. This really truly is an experiment. I saw them online and I was like, maybe that'll work, so I'm giving it a try. Have any of y'all ever used these clips for any of your metal detectors? If so, leave a comment down below and let me know how it worked out. Like, did they hold up, and for how long did they hold up? Or have you not tried it but you're curious to see? I'm gonna keep them in my cruiser for however long they last, and I guess worst case, I've got a bag of 12, so if one or both of them breaks, I've got 10 more replacements that I can switch them out with. So for the pool clips, I did check my local Lowe's and Home Depot and Ace Hardware. None of them had these pool clips, so I did order these online. I didn't check any pool stores, so maybe something like a Leslie's Pools or Pinch a Penny might have them in stock. I didn't check, but I will go ahead and leave the link to these. Again, I got them off of Amazon. There's 12 of them, and they were maybe $5 if I remember correctly. If you're interested in giving them a try, or if you have a pool tool that needs new clips, I'll go ahead and leave the link in the description down below where you can check that out. If you want something a little bit more sturdy than the pool clips and an experiment to see if it works or not, you can still check out these nylon hardware pieces. I got these at Lowe's, so it's definitely an option if your metal clips are rusted out. You can just, again, drill through the shaft of your machine and put in some nylon hardware and you'll be good to go. Again, I got mine at Lowe's. I'm sure you can pick them up at Home Depot or Ace Hardware or any kind of hardware store like that. So now that my Multi-Kruzer is up and running, I do plan on taking it out. I don't know if I'm going to completely submerge it in the water, and I only say that because when Greg was working on it, he did mention that he doesn't necessarily know what caused the machine to short out in the first place, and because some of the internal screws had some corrosion and rust on them, we don't know if maybe it got some moisture on the inside. So because of that, I think I'm going to avoid completely submerging the box, but I will still be able to do some water hunting, like maybe up to like my knees or thighs, depending on how big the waves are. But I do plan on taking the cruiser out for a future hunt in the very near future. If you liked today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel yet, please make sure you do so by hitting the subscribe button. I am very close to hitting 30,000 subscribers, and I would love to break that. So if you're not a subscriber yet, please make sure you become one by hitting the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. I wanted to look at this first. So, girls, no, don't start. No, 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 go lay down. We're not gonna battle right next to the mama. You have this whole entire yard, Callie. Callie, stop. Daisy, no, you too. Go on, go lay down, big girl. Daisy, lay down, right there, just lay down. Lay down.